Good morning or good evening. Thank you so much for joining the webinar today. This is 𝗟𝗘𝗧𝗦𝗧𝗧 from MassMailer. Today I'm going to talk about a feature that we have it packaged and implemented in MassMailer. That's sending out a drip campaign to any lead in Salesforce CRM, basically using MassMailer. Previously, this was custom built from scratch, but now what we have done in the latest release, that's in the sandbox preview now, we have actually packaged the flow so you can actually reuse or clone the flow that we have packaged and then customize it a little bit according to your needs, and then you should be able to send a drip campaign. Just to summarize what all we have in this latest new feature, all it means is basically you can configure the drip campaign using the Salesforce Flow Builder. But what we have done on top of it is basically providing you a packaged flow called MassMailer lead response drip. We call that lead response, but you can rename it anything because it's an existing flow template. So you have to save that or clone it. And then you can basically customize, add more sequences, delete sequences, change your templates and conditions, so on and so forth. That's something that's doable. You can have any number of drip sequence emails. I think the package has got 3, I believe. And then you can have any number of campaign types. You would understand what it means. Just to maybe give you a little overview. So let's say you get a lead and you want to put that lead in some sort of a drip. And after a few weeks or so, you want to put the same lead in a different drip based on the status, the timing, whatever it could be, that could be called as a different campaign. So you can have as many campaigns as you need. But you still have to clone the flow though. For every single campaign type, you need to have one flow defined. And it could be having certain criteria that is different. Obviously, the campaign type is going to be different. And the templates could be different, but that's something that you can customize. You need someone who actually knows how to work with flows. So it's an admin thing. It's not the end user thing. An admin will have to help you. But the goal is for us to really, simplify, have, somebody who knows Flow Builder should be able to figure this out and, build this for you. But if you have a power user who is also fascinated with Flow Builder, they can also do it because it's few clicks and you're good to go. You should be able to follow this video, or you should be able to follow the documentation that we're going to provide shortly. And at the lead level, you are also able to start and stop the drip sequence. That's possible. So that needs to be done at the lead level. And obviously, all of the tracking that you get with MassMailer, that's possible to do. Meaning, since it's a MassMailer feature, rest of it is all given to you. Any type of activity tracking, the email status tracking, submission tracking, all of that is done automatically. You don't need to do anything. So basically, what you get with this new feature is a package flow that's ready-made, but you still have to customize it a little bit. If you are not sure on how to do it, we have professional services team. You can buy one of our success packages and we can help you with that. And obviously, what we are trying to help you is get up and running with a drip sequence for a single lead. So we're not talking about bulk leads here. It's a single lead, one lead at a time. So there's some sort of a manual intervention when you want to put anyone in a drip sequence, when you want to take out someone from the drip. You can, once the flow, the sequence of emails are done, obviously the drip sequence is over. Lead is not getting any emails, that's obvious. But if you actually want to turn off or basically take out a lead from a drip in between, you can also do it manually. So that feature is already inbuilt. Okay, and I'll just show you some screenshots. Obviously, I'm gonna get into a quick demo as well. And if you have any questions, please save it for end of this webinar, and I can clarify all of that. If you're familiar with the Flow Builder, this is how it looks. May look a little complicated if you're not an admin, but safely assume that someone else is going to do this work for you if you're just the end user. So you can see that there are three different flow. Lead response drips there. One is run immediately, and then two more, and I can show you the timing and everything, how you can set it up. So that's how it looks, the flow design. And some conditions you can enable. And this one is basically whenever the lead is created or updated, that's when you're triggering this. And as you can see, there's a drip campaign type, lead response drip. And that's the type of the campaign, and which is configurable. And I'm going to show it to you all of this in Salesforce as well. This is just to kind of give you an overview. And then you could have any number of sequence emails. And this one has total 3. And I've opened up drip 2. And as you can see, it has offset as 2 minutes after that, just for the sake of demo though. But you could have a number of days or weeks, and I'll show it to you what all options you have there. And then how do you actually trigger the email? So Apex action, MassMailer Apex action that we provide, that's called email via MassMailer. That's what you can use. And I've showcased what all parameters are mandatory. As you can imagine, that's a from address, from name is mandatory, record ID, which would just point to the lead ID, and then template API name, the to address, who you actually want to send an email. Very basic. So that's all what is mandatory when you're sending an email. And how do you actually kick off or how do you actually start the drip campaign for any lead? So as you can see, bottom of this screenshot, right side, drip campaign, status, and the start and date time. So you have to make sure that you select a drip campaign type. By default, we have lead response drip. You can always rename this. That doesn't need to be the exact same name. It can be renamed. And we have the drip campaign status, and we have the drip start date and time. And again, that's something that you're going to choose when you want to trigger the drip. As you can see, the drip campaign type is a pick list, which means you can actually enable more values there. And the status, as you can see, in progress, complete, aborted. By default, we have only 3, and that's something, again, if you want to enable more, you can do that, but you have to use your own logic to manage that. So in progress means you are starting the drip. Complete is automatically set whenever the drip is done. Aborted, manually you're gonna abort if you wanted to do that. And the start and date time, obviously that needs to be in the future. And the regular tracking is done just to showcase that that's taken care by us. And also the MassMailer related tracking is also done. And how do you add the drip campaign? Since it's a field on the lead object, all you have to do is go to your object manager lead and then find out the drip campaign, the managed one. And you have this value by default. You can always add more. And again, if you ever need help with any sort of customization, we have the success packages. This is just one of the things that we do, which is admin support, but we can also do the development and stuff like that. So these are some success packages. It's based on you can have a monthly thing if you needed more support, or just one-time thing, whatever it may be. So we can customize our packages, no problem. Okay, so let's get into a quick demo here. And again, It's not super complicated, but you still have to know Salesforce, the flow builder. I would actually show it to you, the lead object first, how to trigger. So I'll go to the leads tab. And I'll pick one of the leads we have. Let's test. Let's see if I take this. And I want to make sure that that's not in suppressions. Okay, it's not suppressed. Email is a valid email. Okay. All right. Okay. So as you can see, we have 3 fields here: drip campaign. This is a drop down. So I would select the lead response drip, and then you have to make sure you select in progress because the rest of them will not trigger anything. And in the date time, I'll select today. So the time is 9:14 for me. And I will do 14, 16, so that we have 2 minutes after I'm going to trigger this. And I will just go save this. So basically, that's all what you need to do. You just have to select those 3 fields, and the lead would be in the drip automatically. And it's going to trigger at 9:16 my time. So I still have 2 more minutes to go. Before that, what I would do, I would actually go to flows and show you. So how do you go to flows? Basically, you go to Salesforce setup and then try to find flows here. Select flows, and it's going to bring in that page. And here, I think it's called drip. So it's called lead response drip, and it is packaged installed, right? And this is the one that you get by default when you actually use, when you actually install MassMailer latest package, you would get this automatically. And you could save this as new flow, basically, right? And that's how you're gonna create a clone of this. And then once you have that, so I have this one called lead response demo. That's the one that I cloned. So it's exactly the same thing, but I changed a few things here. Again, I won't, so I'll keep it very simple. So we are triggering this on a lead whenever a lead is created or updated, provided it has some criteria. And that criteria is this. So it's so much to really digest here, but assume that it's all done for you. Some of this can be modified, such as status. If it's unqualified or something, don't trigger. But you can always add more criteria to this. It doesn't need to be exact same thing, but some of them have to be kept, such as email obviously needs to be there, and you need to have a drip campaign type, and then the status, and what is the status, and it needs to have a start and date time, and the status should not be aborted, and the email should not be opt out. So we have given the basic that is necessary. You can modify some of it, but not all. For example, status can be modified. And if you change the name of the campaign type, that can be modified as well. And rest, you should keep it as is. So basically, status, if you want to change, no problem. Drip campaign type, if you change the name, then you would definitely want to change this. So pretty much that's it. That's all what you want to modify, but if you want to add more criteria, that's up to you. So basically, that's what you would do, and then you're taking an action. Whenever the lead met this criteria, you're taking an action. That's what you do. And now I would show you the scheduled paths here. So since we have 3 emails going out in this, so you have run immediately, nothing to be said there. And then lead response drip 2 is actually, and if you don't want to run immediately, that's also okay. That's possible to do it. And here, the lead response drip 2 and drip 3, we have offset based on the start and date time. So based on the custom field that we added, whatever you're choosing as a start date time, offset to that, you can have hours or days after, months after. So these are all the options what Salesforce would give. Ideally, it is going to be days, I'm assuming, for in most of the scenarios, days after. But for the sake of demo, I've selected minutes after. But in your case, hopefully you would be doing days after. Sometimes you may want to do hours after or months after. That's up to you. So you basically have to have an offset the days after. And the lead response drip 3, same thing. You're actually checking from the drip start date and time. So you have to calculate how many days after from that, the third email is actually going to go. So you have to decide on that. And again, if you don't want to run immediately, that's possible. You can always delete that and don't run anything there. That's possible. So those are the things that you have to make modifications. So how many days you want to send this second and third email after that scheduled start date time, that you have to decide and then configure that. And then the other thing that your admin will have to do is changing the template API name, because whatever template API name that we are given is just the dummy value. You still have to change this from address, from name, because your values could be different. And then the template API name also is going to be different, because you're going to create your own templates. That API name has to be given there. And then to address, hopefully you're just using the standard email field of lead object. If you're using something else, that you need to modify as well. That's up to you. So a little bit of a configuration, but again, nothing complicated. You just have to fill up these fields for each one of these drip emails, right? Send email 3, send email 2, send email, all of them you have to modify the same thing. And then you're done. So pretty much you're done, and you would once you made those modifications, is activate button. So you basically save that as a new version and then activate that flow. That flow is ready for you. So basically, once that is done, your email needs to be triggered or will be triggered whenever you make these modifications on the lead object. Those are the things that you have to do. And then how do you actually create your the campaign types? So you would go to Salesforce setup again, and then you would go to the lead object from this object manager. And you can find fields, and then you can type the drip campaign. So we have the drip campaign field, that's a pick list, as you can see. Status is also a pick list, and the start date. See, these are the 3 fields that we have packaged. So drip campaign, if you go there, you would actually find the current values, the lead response drip. Again, you can edit this if you want, but if you edit this, you'll also edit the flows. And you can always add new. All you have to do is just click on this new button and then add more pick list values here and save it. And you can always change this, but whenever you make a change here, make sure that you're also changing the flows accordingly. That would basically give you more drip campaign types. So lead can be You can start off lead in one drip, and then you can move that lead into a different drip. But that logic has to be done at the flow level, though. When you want to put that lead in a different flow is something that you decide. You need to make that change to the flow. And you need an admin who is proficient in building flows. So that's how you do it.
Okay, so we must have received emails by now. Let's take a look at it. Okay, we received 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗪𝗏 1, 2, 3. So it did work the way we wanted to send those emails, yeah?
Happy to take any questions you have. Check someone has. Okay, so one other question here. Can a mass update lead records to start drip campaigns for multiple leads at once? Does this run into any governing issues? So if you actually want to mass email a drip campaign to lead records, you would actually go via campaign. That's an upcoming webinar that I would be doing, how to send a drip campaign to campaign members. So instead of mass updating all the lead records at once, you would actually trigger a drip campaign via a campaign and add campaign members that are nothing but leads. And that would just pretty much trigger the drip emails to leads in one go. And when does this drip campaign feature go into production? Well, technically, you can actually try it out now in Sandbox, make sure it's all working fine, and then go live after that. We are in Sandbox preview, but we have not made official announcement just because I'm still going through some of these webinars. And we're just making some changes to our user guide and configuration guide. Give us maybe a week or two, we should be officially making an announcement for Sandbox preview. But some customers are already in production because they needed certain features. So you're most welcome to try it out now in Sandbox and make sure everything is working as expected, and you can go live if you think it's all fine. So it is ready, in fact, but as and when somebody needs it and interested, we are giving a go ahead for them. Otherwise, it is actually technically ready for production too. But just let us know if you're interested. We want to make sure that you test it in Sandbox before you go live. Anyone, any more questions? Okay, so seems like no more questions here. I'm gonna go back to my presentation here. So if you need any support with this flow builders, definitely we can help you out. Again, just let us know so we can provide you the appropriate costs related to that. And this webinar, I plan to do it at every week, Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific. I've been continuous for the past few weeks. So if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me or contact us on our website as well, or call us, email. So many options available. If you're new to MassMailer, just go get a free trial. We're happy to help you with the trial as well and help you get set up too. Once again, thank you so much for joining this webinar. Once again, I'm gonna send out a recording as well as the next week's topic too. Mostly just going to be another package flow, mostly a drip campaign via the drip campaign is what I'm going to talk about, but you would be receiving an email sometime soon. Thank you again. Have a good day. Have a good evening.